Hello guys, what's up? Coming at you live from my Airbnb on the Amalfi Coast, where I thought I would be sipping an Aperol Spritz on the beach, but it's pouring rain and freezing cold and there's a lot of wind. It is November, so I guess I should have known that was coming. So I've been in Italy for a month and a half now, I guess. I love Italy so much. I've been here, I want to say 5 times. I keep coming back. I really, really love it. So I figured that I would share some of the things that I've learned over all the different times that I've come here, because it is a little bit different than some other places you may be used to visiting. Sure, it's not like a completely different culture, but there are a few differences that are good to sort of wrap your head around before you come here. All right, let's get into it. Number 1 is the coffee culture. And if you love coffee like me, you're gonna be wanting to drink at least 1 coffee every day while you're here, but it is different to the coffee culture back home in Australia or US or UK, wherever you are from. When I say let's go get a coffee, you might be thinking, okay, we'll go into a cafe, we'll sit down, we'll get a latte, we'll spend an hour just like chilling, having conversation, drinking the coffee. That's not what it's like here in Italy. When locals here go to get a coffee, they walk into the bar, so that's what it's called first of all. It's a bar, not a cafe. Walk in, order their coffee, which is usually just an espresso shot, they down it and they leave, and that's it. It's not really like a let's linger over this coffee and have a chill time. Now, when you are in bigger cities, there are obviously still places that cater to the coffee culture that you and I might be used to, and it'll be easy to find somewhere like that. But if you want to do it the local way, walk in, order your cafe, drink it and leave. And on that note, they also don't really do breakfast. They sort of just will have a croissant with their coffee, and that's just how they start the day. Okay, number 2, when you're in a restaurant and they bring bread to the table, you're like, oh sweet, free bread. It's not free, just so you know. The majority of places are gonna put that on your receipt at the end as like a €2 charge. You can sort of say like no bread, and hopefully they won't charge you for it, but just know that bread is not free. And I'm kind of used to getting that table bread and sort of eating it as I wait for my meal. But here, the whole point of the bread is to be used after the meal as a way to sort of like mop up the juices left on your plate. So you'll use it to like mop up the spaghetti sauce or, you know, whatever's left over on your plate, rather than as like an appetizer sort of thing. On that note, most places also have a coperto fee, which is like a cover fee for sitting in the restaurant. It'll be €1 or €2. So instead of tipping, they sort of add this fee on. You will see some restaurants that have signs saying no coperto, so you'll know that you're not gonna get an extra random fee. But yeah, if you go into a place and you order a €7 plate of spaghetti, chances are your bill is gonna be €8 or €9. Also, please keep in mind that when you sit down at a restaurant and they ask if you want water, they don't mean tap water. They're gonna bring out a bottle of water, so you're gonna be paying an extra €2 for that. Normally, I just say no water and sort of bring my own. Speaking of water, number 4, every city, or at least every city that I've gone to, including the small towns, have free water fountains. So you'll just be like walking down the street and see a random little stone fountain with water coming out of it. That's drinking water. You can refill your bottles here. It's usually really, really fresh, really clean. And if it's the middle of summer, it's nice and cold, which is really, really good. So definitely take a reusable bottle with you, and everywhere that you're walking around, you can just refill it. All right, number 5, I really recommend that you learn a couple words in Italian before you come and start traveling around. I mean, you don't have to be fluent, but it is good to know a couple words. I think people are a lot more receptive to tourists when they do try to speak Italian. I learned Italian for 15 years in school, so I know quite a bit. I always walk into places and start speaking to people in Italian. Normally they'll reply to me in English, so I guess my accent is terrible and tips me off as not a local. Locals. So yeah, most people can speak English, but I think if you try to speak to them in Italian, they're very, very friendly. Also, I've noticed that a lot of people think that the word for thank you is grazie. It's grazie. Grazie with an E at the end, not grazie. I don't know why it grinds my gears so much, but hearing Americans say grazie just like hurts my soul. Another couple words that might come in handy. Buongiorno is good morning, hello, good day. Buonasera is what you say in the afternoon or in the evening. You sort of say that as like a greeting and then also as a goodbye. Like if you're coming out of a restaurant and you're saying like bye, buonasera. Also, if someone speaks to you in Italian and you don't know what they say, you could just say non capisco. Ciao, I mean everyone knows ciao. Vino is wine, vino bianco or vino rosso. What else? Pizza, pasta, I mean that's a universal language. If you bump into someone on the street, you'll say like scusi. If you need to get past someone, you say permesso. Yeah, I think that's probably about like the most important thing. Okay, so if you're wanting to get around Italy, there are trains everywhere. Everywhere you want to go, you'll pretty much be able to get a train. Even the smaller towns have train stations, which is really handy. However, they're usually running late. Just keep that in mind. If you're planning to go somewhere, add in an extra hour to your travel time just because things run pretty slowly. There are fast trains you can get around places, but they are a lot more expensive. For example, I went from Rome to Naples and it cost me 11 euro. It took 4 hours. I could have done it in 2.5 hours, but it would have cost me 50 euro. Not happening. And keep in mind, when you catch a train, you do have to validate your ticket. You'll buy your ticket at the ticket buying machine, and then before you get on the train, you've got to go to a separate machine and validate it. If you don't do that, you could get a fine, so just remember to do that. Okay, number 7 is kind of like a little cultural thing, but in shops and in cafes and wherever you are that you're paying someone, they don't really do the thing here where you'll like hand them money and then they'll hand you the change. Instead, there's usually a little dish at the cash register and they'll put the receipt there and then you put your money there and then they put the change there and you take it. So you're not really like touching hands. It's just a small thing, but it's something that I've noticed. Number 8 is about my favorite thing, food. Now, obviously you gotta eat pizza, you gotta eat pasta, you gotta have gelato while you're here. But please, I'm praying, please eat more than that. Italy has such good food. The country is made up of 20 regions and each region has its own sort of specialty food. And it's so good. So if you're near the coast, everything's sort of seafood based. If you're in the mountains, things are a lot more hearty, a lot of animal products, sorry, vegans. In the north, it's really influenced by Austria and Germany. In the south, it's a lot more like fresh Mediterranean. There is so much good food here. Do a little bit of research before you go about the places you're going, about the regional dishes. I actually read an article on BuzzFeed about the best regional dish in each region that you should try. I'll put the link down there. Definitely do not limit yourself to pizza and pasta because there's so much good food here. Oh man, they really know what they're doing. Okay, number 9 is that a lot of places here have a lunch break. So that's like restaurants, shops, cafes, things like that will usually close between 2 and 4 or 5 for like a little siesta in the afternoon. They call it the pausa, which is like a break, I guess. Restaurants will shut, bars will shut, shops will shut. So keep that in mind when you're planning your day. Do not think, okay, it's fine, we'll have lunch at like 3. No, you're not gonna be able to do it. And then everything sort of opens up again around 5 or 6. People will start going out for drinks, but they eat dinner really late here, which sucks for me because I like going to bed at like 9:30, but they don't really start eating until 8:39. That's when the restaurants start filling up. Usually, you know, you'll go out for a drink at like 6, you have an aperitivo. Sidebar, aperitivo is like the absolute best thing about Italy. You go into a bar, you pay like 8 euros and you get a drink, and then you get access to the aperitivo buffet spread, which is like mini pizzas and olives and vegetables and meat and cheese. Oh my gosh, it's so good. That's a complete sidebar, but keep in mind that shops and restaurants will be shutting in the middle of the day. And number 10, just a little thing, is table service isn't that big of a thing here. If you go into a cafe or a bar and you sit down and then you make eye contact with the waiter and you're like, why isn't he coming over to take my order? And then you wait 5 more minutes and it's like, hello sir, bring me a drink, bring me a menu. You might be waiting for a while because at a lot of places, you got to go up to the bar or to the counter to order. Usually there'll be a sign up that says self-service, and that just means you have to order for yourself. So yeah, service isn't quite the same level as what you might be used to in other places, especially if you are from a country where service is based on tips, where everybody is hustling to make you like them. Here it's a lot more chilled out. It's like, sit down, take a seat, order whatever, I don't care, I'm gonna bring you your coffee, great, done, you know? Just be a bit more chill about it. All right, that is all of my tips. Those are all of my tips for Italy. I hope that these have somehow helped. I freaking love Italy, as I've said. If you are watching this because you're planning a trip to Italy, have an amazing time. I'm super stoked for you. You are gonna love it. And yeah, if you like my video, please give it a little thumbs up down below. That would really help me out. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.